Yep, looks like it's on.
Let me try and see if it's loaded. Yeah, it's on. It's on.
Cool. Lucky that we fucking started.
Just yeah. I'm gonna go to SP voice.
Yep. Cheerio. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to round 7 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here in Baku. We've got a very interesting race today and we're really hoping that you'll enjoy it here. Qualifying has just started here. I'm waiting for who's going to come out of the pit first and who's going to go try and set their very first lap. Who's just coming out the pits now? Looks like it is Bashi. Bashi is a very, very interesting driver. He's won one Grand Prix, the very first Swift Premiership Grand Prix here in China, so he definitely does have the pace and the skills to win the Grand Prix, so he's definitely someone to be keeping an eye on, and we're going to be seeing what sort of pace he's going to be having here at Baku. Baku's a very interesting track with 20 corners. 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 Now coming into turn 1 and 2, taking it very nicely here. He is on the medium tyre. We're going to see if he's going to start on that or if he's going for it. And just closing that DRS, coming into turn 3 now. Very beautifully done through turn 4 as well. It's a very interesting track, Baku, and it will be very interesting to see if people can overtake each other or if there's going to be a lot of contact. It is a very tight circuit and people will definitely be wanting to overtake. It's a very competitive grid today and should be very, very interesting. Coming down now into essentially the last corner, turn 16 now, coming through the S's here. We're just going to see what sort of lap he's going to put in. There is a yellow flag in sector 2. We think that is just people letting people by now. Coming through turn 19 and 20, opening up that DRS nice and wide to give him the extra boost of speed. You get about 10 to 15 kilometers per hour more. And coming across the line, he sets a 1:39.2, a very competitive time on the medium tyre, and we'll see if he sticks this one out and starts on the medium tyre or he decides to go onto the softs and try and perform a better time. Oh, and that is Kosako without a wing now. That is very interesting. Maybe he's had a little incident somewhere. He's definitely going to have to come back into the pits to get a new wing there. Baclau going across the line now, 138.3 on the soft tyre. A very good time, and we'll see if that can get him into the front row. But at the moment, we still have 13 minutes to go, so there's a long time for people to be putting in faster times. Greeny also pulling into the pits instead of going for a lap. I wonder if he managed to get wing damage, or he was took up with Pasatko. That's very interesting here. Currently on the outlap, we have Max, Epic Melon, Raspberry, and Ulipat. Raspberry nearly clipping the wall there, almost taking off his wing and having to pull into the pits like the previous drivers of Pasatko and Green to get a replacement wing. Let's have a quick look to see if anyone is on a lap and see what lap times they are going to be having. Now, previously, Baku has been a very interesting track for the Swift Racing League. We had a race here in pre-season. We had over 10 people attend, and it was a very interesting race. And from my personal experience, it is a very, very hard track on the tyres. So we're going to be looking at a one-stop, but possibly a two-stop, as the strategies can vary quite a lot depending on how well drivers are at saving tyres. The track is very, very hard on the rears, as there is a lot of 90-degree corners and high traction zones. So we'll see what the strategy is. There could be a range of strategies going from soft to hard, medium to hard, or medium to soft. But opening up the DRS now onto the main straight is Epic Melon, and across the line he comes to start his flying lap, coming into turn 1. Nicely done, just clipping the curb. Into turn 2, not trying to hit the apex there as it can unsettle the car. Big snap of oversteer for Epic Melon there. He is on the medium tyre, so they will not have as good of mechanical grip as the soft tyre, but they are a very good tyre around Baku and should be able to put in some very, very competitive lap times now. Coming up to turn 5 and 6, you've got to be able to just clip the apex on the inside, but just miss it on the entrance of 7th. And there is Raspberry, his teammate, who has spun around coming out of that corner. Maybe he unsettled his car, but he has definitely lost his wing. And there's a yellow flag in Sector 2 and 3 for him there. So he's definitely going to have to return to the pits and get a new one so he can set a competitive lap again. Back on board with Epic Melon. Here he comes down the back of the track, coming down, trying to get past some back markers who are trying to get out of his way now. Coming down into turn 16, he is past the back markers as they shouldn't pose too much of a threat to him. Coming through the S turns of 18, 19, and 20 now, easily flat unless it is wet conditions. But there is no predicted rain for the race, so it should be easy flat through there, regardless of the tyre now. Opening up the DRS, coming down the very, very long straight down to turn 1. He's going to cross the line. What time is he going to set? A 1:39.2, and that puts him P3. And he has overshot turn 1. Here we have Max has retired from the session, and Raspberry has retired from the session. Let's see if we can see what happened there with them two. Don't appear to have a view on any of them at the moment, but possibly they have had a collision with a wall somewhere. The issue with Azerbaijan is that it is such a narrow track that collisions with the wall, as you see the soft tyre of a retired car there, strewn out on the field, that any mistake can give you damage, and a medium to major mistake could result in your retirement from the session. There are a lot of runoffs going into virtually every corner, so if a driver does outbrake himself, they do have the option to go straight off into the runoff. But it's a very competitive grid today, and drivers will be trying to make as little of mistakes as possible, as they obviously want to win. We'll talk about some of the standings now. Currently, Edu is leading the championship here. He has won the last 4 races in a row. but he is not here today. He's doing some other things, so he will not be extending his points at the moment. Epic Melon here is in third place after having a good run of form in the previous races. He's looking to possibly extend his lead from third place or even overtake second place. And today we have the return of Rominator for Daddy's Cash F1. He's been on a 4-race hiatus with some technical issues, but he's back today. Everyone will remember the P3 he pulled off in China, and definitely has the pace to be up there in the top 5 and getting some really good points for their team. Filling in for myself at Daddy's Cash is Cameron Seal, who is currently chilling in the pits and and likes to come out very late and put in as little laps as possible to give as many tyre options as possible here. On board now with Rin, who is racing for... He's a reserve driver who is racing for, I believe, he's racing for Nebula today. I may be mistaken though. He looks like he's putting in a pretty good time. He's right on the edge of the track limits there as he comes around the S's here of 19 and 20. There is a yellow flag in sector 2. We'll have to have a look at what that is about. It looks like someone maybe has spun. Unfortunately, there are no views here. Coming down up to the line now, Rin is coming to the line. He is going to set the fastest lap on a 1:37.4, just under a second quicker than Beclau's time on the softs. As you see him come into the pits and ruin his wing going into the pits. I don't understand exactly what he was trying to do there. That was it's going to be a very expensive front wing to replace there. But look at that time from VRL Rin, 1:37.4, very, very strong pace he claims to have on everyone here. He does like to talk about his Baku pace, and we'll definitely be keeping a look on him for how he's going to perform today. But currently he's on provisional pole with 5 minutes 50 seconds to go with a 1:37.4, a very good time from him. At this point in qualifying, a lot of people do come into the pits and we wait, as we will be waiting another 2 minutes roughly for them to start coming out for their final runs here. So it's going to be very quiet on track, and we don't expect to see much movement for the next rough 2.5 minutes. So while we are waiting for people to come out here, as we see that is, I believe, Greeny, who's actually on his way out currently now. As I said, people won't be coming out of the pits. Here comes someone out of the pits straight away. That would be McLeod, who is coming out of the pits, actually. He's going to be looking to improve his time. He's going to have to gain over 0.9 of a second to dislodge Rin here from his very comfortable pole position at the moment. As also we see Kasatko coming out the pits and Yulipat coming out the pits for the first time. Yulipat has a very, very good pace, and we're just going to check here for his current standing. Yulipat is currently in 7th place. A good result for him today could put him up to 5th place. A bad result, however, could drop him below Raspberry. But let's talk more about the results in general. After round 6, which was our last race, Edu is still definitely he definitely will be okay. As in the game, he's definitely gonna be out of the car and he will be okay. But that is him in 6th place and under threat from Greeny now, who is also coming around the last corner to start his flying lap. I'm going to be on board with him, seeing if he can improve from a 1:39.9 and move up the field slightly. He should be able to. Greeny has a very good pace and is very consistent. So should be able to set a very good lap there. Opening the DRS now, coming down the main straight. Going into turn 1 here, just clipping that apex on the inside. Taking as much track on the outside there. May or may not have invalidated there. We'll definitely have to see. Using as much track as he dare do there. And he's coming down now the 2nd DRS straight. Also, we're going to be keeping an eye on Cameron C, who is very, very quick. As qualifying is finished, people are going to start coming across the line to finish their lap. Rin can't improve on his time. Kasatko can't improve on his time. Baklau is out of the session. Yulipat is in the pits, not improving on his time. Bashi also not improving on his time. So the people we'll be looking at currently is Greeny, Rominator, and Cameron C. Greeny is not going to be completing another lap as he seemed to have spun in that section of the track there, so he will not also be improving. Now we are going to be looking at Rominator and Cameron C to see if they will be improving their laps. Rominator doesn't seem to be improving his lap. He's taking a nice country drive down the main straight here. So the final person we'll be on board with is Cameron Seal to see if he can improve his time coming through the last corner. Now he is covering for Daddy's Cash, so definitely I'm not biased to him. Coming around the final corner now of the straight. DRS will be wide open any second now. He's going to come down to the line now. What time is he going to say? Is he going to be able to take pole from Rin? No, he's not. He is going to be in 3rd place with a 1:38.1. A very good lap from him, and he is able to dislodge Yulipat from the 2nd row and will be accompanying Baklau there instead. And as we're just finishing up with qualifying now, Greeny is going to be coming across the line. It is not a push lap. As you saw, he definitely made a mistake going into that mid-sector there, spun himself around. Very unfortunate for him. He definitely has the pace to get some race wings, but obviously the consistency was just not there today. So, here we have, on the front row, we have Ren, accompanied by him with Kaseko. On the 2nd row, we have Cameron C and Baklau, Yulipat, Bashi, Epic Melon, and Max. Greeny, Rominator, and starting at the very back, not setting a time, and with free tyre choice, we have Raspberry. It's going to be a very interesting race today, and there's 3 people starting on the medium tyre, Cameron C being the one furthest forward. So we'll definitely see what sort of strategies are coming out today, and if there will be any early safety cars, which oh so often accompany us in the SRL League. Any issues that was going on with the stream should be fixed now. It was just a duality with 2 people trying to stream at once, but that should be fixed now, so you should be seeing my screen and my voice. We're just waiting for the players to load now as they are setting up their strategies. It's going to be very interesting what sort of strategies they will be using today. Obviously, the AWS will be, suggest a soft to hard or possibly a medium to hard. But personally, I think a medium to soft may be a very good strategy if you have the pace. And there are a lot of people with great pace on this grid, so we'll see what they'll be doing, and we'll see if Cameron C, who won in Tier 1 in Canada last week, can steal his first Swift Premiership win. Starting on the formation lap now as the clock ticks over, and it will be Rin who will be leading the pack away, followed by Kasako in the very beautiful blue car he has made, and Cameron C. Cameron C is the furthest forward on the mediums tyre. He put in that very, very good lap on the medium tyres ahead of quite a lot of the soft runners, so we'll see how his start is going to be. Starts are very high load on the tyres, so maybe he might not get a perfect start, and maybe the Clow and Ulipat might be able to make up a couple of places on him. Going into turn 1 is going to be very interesting, as it is always it's very tight off the start. It's only a couple of 100-meter sprint down to the turn, and we'll see if anyone wants to send a dive on Rin, or anyone else for that example, going into that corner. It's essential that these cars warm up their tyres, as currently when they start the lap they are around 70 degrees, and the good operating range for softs and mediums is in the high 80s to the very low 90s. So it is very important that, as you see on the straights, that they leave and wiggle their car to get as much heat into those tyres as possible. But do be aware, doing this does reduce the tyre life and increase degradation. So doing this could be not beneficial, but I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. Let's talk a bit about Raspberry, who is at the back, and he is quite far back from the pack here, as he maybe has had a spin at the back there. We don't exactly know the issue there, but he's starting on the medium tyres today. He's the only one with fresh tyres. And just remembering now, this is Raspberry's first race on the wheel, so maybe he'll have some issues as you see him spin out. Is he okay? There we go, there you go, on his way back to the good. Luckily, on formation laps, damage is not on, but he probably would have broke off his wing if there was realistic damage on the formation lap. Everyone is already pretty much at the line. They're going to be waiting a very, very long time for Raspberry, who has spun out once again and cannot get his car under control. His tyres are probably burning. They are in the 120 degree range probably, and he has been disqualified from the formation lap. How interesting. So, here we go. Everyone is lining up on the line. Here we go. The first light, the second light, the third light, the fourth light, and the fifth light. And it is a go. Here we go. Off they go. Coming off the line now, Rin seems to get a pretty good start, a much better start than Kasaka coming down into turn 1. Kasaka does have a little look up the inside, but there goes Ulipat, who got flung off the track there, and he is already out. Bashi taking a penalty for that severe collision. That was a very, very big collision, and you saw Ulipat careen off the track there going into turn 1. I thought something might happen going into turn 1, and something definitely has. Leading now is Rin off the line. Kasako, no position change there. Cameron C, who is also managed to maintain his position, and Greg Cloud. Bashi is up a position, but of a result maybe of taking out Ulipat and now gaining a 5-second penalty. Does he have wing damage? We don't exactly know. Epic Melon in 6th place, Rominator, then Max and Greeny. And in last place, but making up a position from that DNF from Ulipat, is Raspberry. He is on a brand new wheel coming from controller, so he may not have the pace that we normally see from him. So he's going to be interesting to see if he can make up some good places and adapt to the wheel at the moment. Coming down into turn, I believe 15, all clean. The cars are starting to space out and will be gapping each other now. Kasako is just about to drop out of DRS from Rin, as is Cameron C just about dropping out of DRS from Kasako himself. Although DRS is not open until lap 3, so we'll see if that gap closes up once we get to that lap, or if it continues to open up again. Using a lot of ERS on the straight here. Rin trying to just take out of the toe from Kasako, coming into turn 1, taking it nicely. Him coming through nicely. Kasako comes through nicely. As you can see, Baclau and Epic Melon, followed by Roman C just a couple of seconds behind, and Max right on his tail, trying to possibly overtake him and claim 6th place. 4GT has made up 2 more places, as Bashi is in the pits for a new wing and serving that penalty, as is Greeny, who is in the pits as well. We possibly got wing damage from that collision with Ulipat, we don't exactly know. So now at the back of the pack we have Greeny and Bashi. Bashi going onto the hard tyre now, just about not crossing the pit exit line there. he's going to go on hards to the end of the race. We'll see how well they perform towards the end of the race because we still have 25 laps now. Kisako getting past Rin. Unfortunately, didn't see that. We were talking about Bashi, but he has got past Rin in obviously a great move in that mid sector. Unfortunately, we didn't see that coming, but Kisako at the end of that one was almost a second behind, so he has made up that second, overtaking Rin, and he's now breaking out into a second. Rin now under pressure from Cameron C, coming into turn 15. Cameron C isn't going to go for it, he's just a bit too far back. Coming into turn 16, Cameron C is going to get a beautiful toe going down the main straight, but he is also under pressure from Cloud. Rin just going slightly wide from turn 16 there, possibly picking up a warning. You don't want to get too many warnings or you are going to get penalties, and penalties do decide races. Cameron C going up against Rin, who's now dropped down to third place as Cameron C goes round the outside and going into turn 1. Rin pulling into the pits, obviously gaining damage. McLeod now moved up into third place, trying to go around the outside of Cameron C. Is he going to make it stick? No, he's going to just give him enough space. Cameron C, beautiful racing from these two men as they do very, very good. Trying to go around the outside again, but Cloud looks like he's just got the move stuck. That was very, very good racing from the two men. And here we have Cameron C coming back at him, going into turn 3 now. This might go on forever, this battle. We just overtake each other consistently, but all this fighting is giving Kisako a lot of breathing air, and he's now pulled a 2.6 second gap to the Daddy's Cash Standard and the Phoenix Racing driver. Unfortunately, Epic Melon is not able to keep up the pace with McLeod. He has dropped to 1.7 seconds behind and is going to be trying to get back into that DRS, as DRS is so essential around Baku. The dirty air in the mid sector creates such a gap that if you don't have DRS, when you get back into that mid sector, you just keep on dropping time. So it's very essential that Epic Melon does get back into the DRS. In 5th place, we have Ruminator, who is under pressure from Max here. Max is quite a new driver to SRL, but he has already proven himself to be amazing and very, very consistent. As a virtual safety car has came out. Who is that for? It looks like it was for Raspberry, who is missing the front of his wing. Now, I'm going to assume that was in the castle section, and he managed to clip it off with on the walls. Very unfortunate for him. He is going to have to pit, but that is very good for Rominator, who is now no longer under so much pressure from Max, as Baclau and Kisako come in for fresh rubber. Onto the soft go Kisako as he gets held up by Baclau. Baclau also going on to fresh rubber, onto softs. Cameron C and Epic Melon stay out though. They're on the medium tyres, they can go for much longer and drive much harder. So now Kisako and Baclau have dropped down the field, but they are on the cream of the crop tyres. They will be going as fast as they can to try and catch up the 14 second gap that has been pulled to them by the two drivers on the medium set. Greeny made up a place on Max, who appeared to have pitted, but there is some lag issues going on here. Rominator is jumping in and out of life here, as they seem to be doing some sort of mother's meeting down the second DRS straight. The VSC has gone. It is green flags now. DRS has been enabled. There are still yellow flags until the leader crosses the line, I believe. You know, I eat my words. It's a green flag now. I think it might be until he gets into the next sector. But in the lead is Cameron C on the medium tyre, starting from 3rd place. Has now pulled a 4-second gap to Epic Melon. Greeny picking up that time penalty. Like I mentioned before, you can't pick up too many warnings on Baku, as you do get penalised quite easily for extending the track. And penalties have decided races in the past, and they will probably continue to decide races in the future. Now, while we're in this intermittent stage in the race, I just want to go over and promote our league of Swift Racing League. There is a link in the description to join our Discord. We are a very friendly community, and we would love to see you try and race against us. SRL, it's been around for a couple of months now. It was started by DMC, and he's very focused and committed to making this a very good and caring environment for all class of drivers, whether you're the fastest of the fast or you have just got the game and you are looking to learn how to drive. We do encourage clean racing and fast racing. We have 2 tiers of tier 1 and 2, and we have obviously the Swift Premiership, which tries and conjoins the tiers together to really maximize the friendship between the tiers. As we don't want to be separated, and we want to be all together and having fun. The number one priority is this league is fun, though. It's a very competitive league, but it's also very enjoyable, and definitely encourage people to enjoy themselves and also create a very good racing environment. Here we have Rominator, but back to the race. Let's go. There's a yellow in sector 1 as Rominator manages to get past Max. Oh, he's still under pressure from Max. Max getting a big snap of oversteer there. And Epic Melon is left the session. Possibly he got a lag spike or he got disconnected. He is currently 5 seconds clear. Oh, sorry, 9 seconds clear, sorry. Of Kasatko, so he might be able to get back in the session on time. That's very unfortunate. He's in a very, very good place at the moment, so we'll see if he can get back in and continue the race. But that time to Kasatko is going to be plummeting. The AI level is set on, I believe, 85. So they will be driving at quite a high level, the AI, but nothing compared to what some of these drivers can pull off. Yellow flag there in sector 2. What's going on there? Is someone spun around? Who is it? It looks like it is Raspberry, maybe. He doesn't have any wing damage, but possibly he spun out again in sector 2 there. Here we have Max. Finally getting past Rominator under the DRS there would be a very, very simple overtake with the DRS, but Rominator is definitely going to try to come back at him into the second DRS zone of turn 2 to 3. We'll have a look at this, see if he manages to come back. He's very, very close to him. There goes the DRS from Rominator. He is going to be gaining, but it doesn't look like he's close enough to make a move. Is he going to go for a move? No, he's not. But he is going to punt Max, get wing damage. Oh, and there's been a big punt there. Who's going to capitalize from this? Is Bashi going to capitalize from this? He is going to try to. He has managed to get past Max and Rominator. Rominator just outbraking himself there under the DRS. It's very easy to do this, as when you get DRS you go 10 to 15 kilometers per hour quicker, and your braking zone does come back a couple of feet, if not meters. So Rominator with wing damage, Max with possible wing damage, as we saw, he did go into the wall. Don't know if he went in fast enough. If he did go in fast enough, he will have wing damage and will have to pit fresh rubber. The person who has benefited the most from this, though, is Bashi, who is now gone from 6th place, gone into last, and is now back up to 6th place. He's only roughly 30 seconds behind the leader of the race, and does not need to pit. So he's in a very good position to win this race. As a safety car has now came out. I wonder who that's for. I'm not entirely sure that safety car might be for. Rominator, he has broke off his wing. That's very unfortunate. He's going to have to pit for a new wing, but luckily, under the safety car conditions, he will be able to get a new one and possibly not lose any places, as Greeny is 22 seconds behind. That's going to be very interesting to see who pits and who doesn't, as the leader of the race already came past the pit lane when the safety car came out. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he goes all the way around and then pits, and if he loses any places to the likes of Bashi, who does no longer need to pit, but could benefit very, very much from pitting again. In goes Max. What is he going to put on? He's going to put on a new wing and a fresh set of softs. These will get him to about the midpoint of the race, but he will have to pit again. So, maybe a good call, see if he has the pace. There's been a lot of pits from a lot of people, so we'll see who actually manages to benefit from the most there. Coming down to turn 16 now, we're going to have a little look to see if Cameron C does decide to pit. It could be a very good opportunity for him to pit, as he does have 8 seconds on Epic Melon, who is also on the same age and compound of tyre. It will also be very beneficial for the soft runners, as the softs that would have started the race would have gone off quite considerably by now, and would definitely be the need of a pit stop very soon. In comes to the pit goes Cameron C, taking it as much as he dares without crashing his car. Also, Epic Melon, is he coming into the pits? He is coming into the pits, and he's also going on to fresh rubber. Onto the medium tyres go for Cameron C. He's definitely going to be doing a two-stop strategy, possibly to the softs at the end nearly. Epic Melon, what soft tyre is he going to go on to? He is going to go on to the medium tyres as well, and he will be doing another pit stop at the end. Kasatko, he goes on to the medium tyres as well and gets a wing change, as Rin, who has pitted earlier in the race and is back out, has not decided to pit and is now back up into second place. But Cloud, he looks like he went onto the medium tyre, and Bashi has decided not to pit, as he is now overtaking his tier 1 teammate, but definitely a big rival for him in the Swift Premiership. Rominator now, is he going to come into the pits? He has to come into the pits. He broke off his wing. He's coming into the pits now, and we'll see what tyre he's going to go on to. But more interesting, is Max going to come into the pits? No, Max has not come into the pits. So obviously, he has not got wing damage, or he believes he's good enough to carry on. Greenie also not coming to the pits. But is Raspberry going to come into the pits? He is on the hard tyre, so he does not need to come into the pits. But if he's got wing damage recently, like he might have just got there, he may have to come into the pits. And now behind the safety car, we have Cameron C, who's had quite a very good race today. He's gone from P3 on the medium tyre, he's currently in P1 on a fresh start of mediums, followed by Rin, who are on old mediums, and Epic Melon, who is on fresh mediums, and Kasako on fresh mediums. So let's going to see how much can Rin hold up Epic Melon, and possibly even Kasako, and how much of a gap can Cameron C make to the second place car. It's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be a very good safety car restart, and we're going to be sat here for the next couple of laps. So safety cars like to stay out for about 4 laps, and we have just completed the first one. So we have 2 laps, maybe about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes of safety car, as everyone tries to catch up to the pack. As we see, that would be Raspberry coming out on the hards and trying to catch up to the pack. Now, the safety car is a very common sight in Baku. It was a common sight in the real life Grand Prix. Coming out. Okay, we're going to hold that thought for a second. Rominator has just crashed. Possibly. Maybe he crashed with Green? I don't know. Oh, he's crashed on the straight! He's managed to do exactly pretty much what Lance Stroll did when he got a puncture in the real life Grand Prix. And he is now out of the Grand Prix and will not be scoring any points today for Daddy's Cash. That is very, very unfortunate. I have no idea how he's managed to do that. Possibly he just got a snap of oversteer coming out of turn 20 and has put it into the wall. That's very unfortunate. Greenie now coming out of the pit. Did he just get a penalty for crossing the line? Not entirely sure. Let's have a look. Let's see. What do we have here? 3-second penalty. Oh, that would be for the corner cutting. So, not for crossing the line. As you can see here, fresh rubber for the top 5, except Rin. And those 5-lap-old mediums, while not degraded too much, will definitely not be as fast as those fresh mediums, especially after the first 5 to 10 laps of the safety car, where the mediums will become a lot faster than the softs at that point, and also will still be faster than the hards, and then would have to pit again. So it's very interesting to see that he didn't pit, but will it pay off in the end as we are coming down the back straight now? And we're trying to catch up to the safety car. As the safety car is on the main straight. He's not coming in just this lap, and will probably come in next lap. very unfortunate. Let's have a look at what happened to Romain. Obviously, it was a snap of oversteer coming out a turn 20 there, so a very unfortunate incident that happened to him. There is obviously when you're pushing the car to its limits and you hit the curb, as we saw in qualifying, what I think Ellen did. If you clip the curb, you can spin, and if you're on a controller or a wheel, regardless. The way this game is designed this year, it is very, very hard to hold slides and correct them without getting either a very, very big kick of oversteer and tank slappering into the opposite direction, or not putting enough wheel in and end up hitting the wall regardless. But so very, very unfortunate for him. But hopefully he'll have a better week next week. And he's just getting back into racing after, like I said earlier today, his 4-race hiatus. Kasako coming into the pits, and Greeny, I think, coming into the pits again. Maybe not, but Kasako definitely came into the pit. He's going on to hards. He's going to do the next 16 laps on those hards. He will definitely make it to the end, but will he be good at the end? That is the question. Can the mediums get to the end and be faster than the hards still, or very competitive before the hards become too much quicker, and then he's able to catch up. He's at the back of the pack pretty much, as Greeny just manages to rejoin them. So we will definitely see, as is the safety car coming in this lap. It is coming in this lap. Cameron C will be controlling the field and is the only remaining Dead East Cash driver on the track at the moment. So we'll be controlling the field and we'll be doing this safety car restart here at Baku today. Everyone's getting very, very tight, very, very close. As you can see, the top 3 very, very close to each other, weaving their tyres to try and get as much of them as possible. The further back you get, the less people weave. They're trying to get as much or as good as a start as possible here. Here we are, he's still weaving. Still weaving. We're going to see when's he going to go. When's he going to go? He's still going, and he's bolted. He is gone, and he has got a pretty good start on Rin here, down the main straight, starting the start-finish line to clear the safety car. Coming into turn 1, he is clear going into turn 1. Kasako going down the inside of Raspberry there as he goes wide out of turn 1. Greeny are also capitalizing on that and getting past Raspberry again. Greeny's back up to 8th place. Kasako up to 7th after picking for those fresh starts. The gap is starting to open up from 1st to 2nd place. Those 7-lap mediums are no match for those 2-lap mediums of the leader, as Rin does clip the wall there, possibly getting damage. Probably not, though. It was a very minor clip. Looking down the grid now, we have a match right under the rear of Bashi. He's going to try and put him under pressure. Bashi being on 8-lap old hard and Max being on 3-lap old soft. They'll be very, very quick at this moment, those softs, and he needs to get past Bashi. Where's he going to do it? Where's he going to do it? Is he going to do it going into turn 15 maybe? Very good overtaking opportunity, and we'll definitely have to see. Also behind Max is Kasako on those fresh hards. Not as good as his softs at the moment, but definitely putting it out. As Greeny spins and off he goes into the wall, breaking off another wing. He is down now on fresh softs, but without a wing, so we'll have to pit again. Very not the ideal restart for Greeny, and he definitely did not want that to happen at this time. Bashi starting to open the gap on Max again. It's up to half a second now. Now going into the back straight. Is it enough to keep the position? We don't exactly know. But Max is gaining. He's gaining quickly. Going into the very last corner, turn 20, he is gaining. Where's he going to go? Is he going to go up the inside or out down the outside? He's still behind him. He's right behind him. He's still in the structure. He's going to go down the outside as the Clow comes into the pits for a new wing, I assume. Bashi manages to keep his position going into turn 1. Max nearly taking off his rear end, but here comes Kasako capitalizing on that mistake from Max and taking fifth place. Amazing racing from Kasako there on the hard tyre. Definitely the slower tyre at this time, but amazing racing from him. Greeny has retired. Did he hit the wall or did he do it in the pit? Not entirely sure, but he's out the race after we saw him break off his wing there, like we did a couple last lap. McLeod also taking a trip with the wall there These walls are going to be full of paint, of orange paint, of blue paint, of purple paint, as these drivers are scraping the walls and pushing the cars to the absolute limit here. On board now with Epic Melon, right up the rear of Rin. Is he going to try go for a move, as he needs to get past him to keep the second place that he gained right at the start of this race now. He's right on the rear of Rin. Rin getting a slight kick of oversteer there, coming into turn 16 now. He is right on his tail. So look at Cameron. He is absolutely gapped Rin. He has left him for dead. He's left him dead in the water 1.3 seconds after the second lap of racing. Kasako going down the outside of Bashi. There goes a wing. That's Bashi out of the race in turn 19, I believe. Very, very unfortunate there. That looked like it may have been Max or Kasako just slightly squeezing Bashi just a bit more than he would have done. Maybe it was Kasako there here as he pulls into the pits, and Max pulls into the pits. That's a very, very big incident there, and we'll definitely see it is another safety car. There is another safety car. This is very interesting now. 2 safety cars within 5 laps. This does happen sometimes when racing restarts and people on fresh tyres, people on old tyres. Coming out of the pits now. Raspberry just manages to get in front of Kasako, and Epic Melon is now into 3rd place. Raspberry manages to get in front of Kasako and Max, a double overtake, and McLeod, who also pulled into the pits to get a new wing after his trip with the wall in, I believe, turn 2. This is going to be very interesting. Is Cameron, is Epic Melon, is Rin even going to box, or are they going to stay out? Now, I think Cameron and Epic Melon will stay out, but I think Rin will definitely box at this point. His tyres are getting on in their life, while he can get another 6 to 7 laps, maybe up to 10 laps out of them. They are definitely degrading fast, and he definitely should want this free pit stop. Epic Melon nearly going into the rear of Rin there. Under safety car conditions, Epic Melon, we don't need any racing at the moment. Let's just keep it good distance, and let's not get any 5-second penalties for tapping people. Now let's see. Who's going to go into the pits? Is Cameron going to go into the pits? He is going to pull into the pits. Is Rin going to go into the pits? He does also go into the pits, but Epic Melon does not. Very, very interesting there. I didn't think Cameron would have pitted, and he's going onto the soft tyre. Rin also onto the medium tyre again. He looks like he's going to go to the end of the race now. He has done a soft tyre compound, so he has done a 2-tyre compound, which is the rules in F1. You have to do 2-tyre compound in 1 race. So he has done that now, so he can go to the end of the race. Cameron can also go to the end of the race, but can he do 12 laps on the soft? I'm not entirely sure. Is he banking on another safety car? Maybe. But will he have to pit again, or can he drag those tyres, those soft tyres, which will be ruined by the end of the race towards the end? Also into the pits comes Raspberry, or out of the pit should I say, comes Raspberry, getting a 5-second penalty for crossing the line. Now that is definitely not what he wanted. He didn't want any more penalties because he's already at the back of the pack, and this is just putting him even further back at this point. He just needs to complete the race, get the 6 points you get for 7th place, and really try and improve on his skill on the wheel. But surprisingly, he hasn't crashed. He has took off his wings, but he hasn't DNF'd yet. So from his perspective, it could be a very, very good race for him. But currently leading this race from, I believe, 7th place on the grid, or 8th place on the grid, we have Epic Melon. The safety car is in this lap. That was a very late call from the safety car, I believe. I don't remember. It normally happens at the exit of 16, but it is coming in now. Epic Melon trying to warm up his tyres as much as possible. The safety car is already coming in, but Epic Melon isn't leaving much space for the safety car to actually come into the pit lane. Trying to warm up his tyres as much as possible. Cameron C is going for it. He is getting tailed by Rin here, who's going to look for a move into turn 1. He doesn't go for the move, but guess who does? Max does, and Max has got up the inside of Baclau, and Baclau has gone wide into turn 1 and has taken off another wing here. Raspberry has not caught up to the safety car. Raspberry has not caught up to the safety car and is pitting again and did not get any benefit from the safety car restart. Unfortunately, the commentator from last race is not available at the moment, but wasn't that great anyway, so he's welcome to join me in the commentary box at any time he wishes, if he wants to. But right now, we have Epic Melon leading the race, followed by Cameron C, who's right up his tail, very, very fresh softs, seeing if Cameron C can make those softs work and re-overtake Epic Melon and retake the lead of this race. Once again, Raspberry getting another 5-second penalty after just serving his own in the pit for crossing the line again. I think the game is trying to make an example of not crossing the white line. But here we have Cameron C going around the outside of Epic Melon, going into turn 20, going side by side. Cameron C looks like he's got this move done and dusted. Already he is just about ahead coming across the line, but he is out of ERS for that lap. Does he have any more? Does he have any more juice in the tank? We will see as they go side by side. Epic Melon has to give way, and he is now into the lead of the race. Epic Melon dropping down to second place. But what does this mean for Rin? Rin is only 1.7 seconds behind on much fresher medium tyres than Epic Melon. Can Rin close the gap to Epic Melon, get back in the DRS, and possibly reclaim second place? Be very interesting. But Rin is also under pressure from Kasatko on only one lap on the mediums. And then Rin. So it'll be definitely interesting to see if those two drivers, currently in third and fourth, and can take second and third from Epic Melon. As someone who's just clipped their wing going into turn 20, not exactly sure that was. We saw a flying wing as Max. Oh, what has happened here? What has happened here? A big crash in the castle section there. We have Rin and Kasatko here, who have took each other out of the race, and Max is now stuck behind them and can't exactly move, but is now set here behind these two drivers, not exactly able to move. They have ghosted, and he is able to now get through. They have took each other out in the castle section, and there goes Kasatko and Rin from the race. Now that was a big crash in the castle sector there, and that takes another 2 people out of that race to bring it up to 6 people currently DNFing. Wow. Well, what an incident. And that's a 3rd safety car in about 10 laps. Welcome to Baku, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. In comes Cameron C for another fresh set of tyres. He's on softs again. This guy just keeps on putting softs on. He's done through 4 sets of softs at this point. How many pits has Cameron C done now? That is not what I want. 3 stops now from Cameron C now. Wow. McLeod doing 4 stops. Raspberry doing 5 stops. And the only person to really have done only 1 stop and, you know, done a good job at racing today is Epic Melon. And I do want to note, I do look at the chat, and I do see what you and Green are saying, Cicero. Cicero, you are welcome to join me in the commentary box and commentate alongside me with this race. But wow, what an incident into the castle sector there. Definitely not an overtaking opportunity, and definitely not the place to try overtake someone that goes side by side. But wow, obviously Sako or Rin went for it, and it definitely didn't come off well for both of them. Down to 5 drivers of the original 11 now. So basically, as long as you finish this race, you get very, very good points. Of course, first place will be getting 25 points, second getting 18, third 15, fourth 12, and fifth place 10 points. So as long as you finish this race, you are guaranteed 10 points, which will be very, very crucial for the current fight going from third to 6th place in the current standings, which Epic Melon and I believe Baclau are enthralled in. Wow, what a race. Luckily, oh, and in comes Epic Melon to the pits. What tire is he going to go to? Is he going to drop behind his teammate? No, he won't, but he is coming on to fresh softs now. So he has gone from the lead of the race down to 4th place. But can he make up those places again and possibly win this race? Not entirely sure. The only person to not be on soft tyres right now is Max. Is this going to be an issue going into the later stages of the race, as those tyres will start to degrade? But there is only 8 laps remaining, so those hard tyres will be good for quite a long time. But those softs will be so much quicker that theoretically he should be swallowed up on the restart and he should drop down to 4th place instantly. But we'll definitely have to look at this restart and what exactly is going to happen. As the chat is going wild between Bashi Green and Cicero. Let's have a little look here. I wouldn't finish this race. I know I wouldn't finish this race, but I'd definitely do a lot more laps than you would, Cicero. Bashi is definitely a fraud. Melon has bottled this. Melon has bottled this, yes. That is true. Melon has bottled this race, according to Cicero. Last week, Tier 1 commentator. He didn't race in Tier 1 last week because he's too scared of it. But yes, Epic Melon has bottled this race. At the moment, we'll definitely have to see. Max in the mud, uses assists. Obviously assists are allowed in Swift Racing League. You can use none, or you can use all of them essentially. There are only a couple of not allowed assists, banned assists, pertaining to steering assist, braking assist, and pair assists, DRS assists, ERS assists, etc. But traction control and ABS, racing line, all that good stuff is all okay. Safety car is coming in now. Cameron C is going to be pacing the field, coming out of sector 3 now. He's warming up his tyres, he's bolted, he's gone for it. Has he got the jump on Max here? It doesn't look like he's got the jump on Max here. Coming into turn 1 now, Cameron C is clear going into turn 1, so is Max and Baclau, but Baclau is under a lot of pressure here from Max and Epic Melon, but he manages to retain the position and is still in P2, and Max in P3, Epic Melon in P4, and Raspberry is only just crossing the line to restart, to join lap 19 with the rest of the drivers here. Should definitely chill out for the rest of this race. Just make sure he gets to the end, because at the moment he's not in contention for any sort of wins. You know, he's not going to be interacting with the leaders, as you would say. But Baclau under a lot of pressure from Epic Melon now, coming down to the castle section of the track. He's right up his rear. As you can see his front wing getting right in the diffuser of Baclau. Into castle section they go. Baclau just clipping his rear tyre on the wall, but definitely not gaining any damage. Epic Melon still right up the rear of Baclau, and he's definitely putting up a lot of pressure on this man. And let's see if he can hold out for the next 7 laps. But all this fighting, you must look at the bigger picture, all this fighting is giving Cameron C a 2.1 second gap on the first lap. He has gained 2.3 seconds now, almost 2.5 seconds in one lap because of the Cloud and Epic Melon fighting, but also because Cameron C had very, very, very good pace and is one of the fastest drivers in the league. This battle is legendary between these two drivers here. Who is going to get the second place? Who is going to get the third place? Max has been left for dead in the water. He isn't going to get a podium today unless something happens with the top three. And it doesn't look like Epic Melon or Baclout are going to win this race. So the main battle of this race is for P2. Who is going to get it? Is Epic Melon going to keep on and manage to defend from Baclout even with the DRS opening up next lap? Is he going to be able to defend? Or is Baclout, with the slightly older tyres, going to get through and is going to gap Epic Melon? Or are they going to continue battling all the way down to the line? Ooh, that was a clip of the wall. Baclout just hit the wall there. Did he get damage? Not entirely sure, as Epic Melon has gapped now Baclout by almost 2 seconds there. He's managed to pull out a gap from out of nowhere, apparently. Apparently I'm missing all the action. This is the only action that is going to be happening at the moment with these two drivers, but if Baclout got wing damage, he's definitely going to have to pit, we should definitely see him drop to 4th place out of the podiums. So, let's see. Is he going to pit? Did he get wing damage? There is a yellow flag. Let's see, here it is. It's Mazepin. It's Raspberry. Cameron C coming across the line to City 139.8 here. Baclout not coming into the pits. He's going to carry on. Obviously, the damage is not major enough for him to come into the pits. Get a big snap of oversteer there. And definitely losing a lot of time to Epic Melon. Currently, these gaps are widening out every single corner here. Cameron C 3.5 seconds from Epic Melon. Baclout 2.5 seconds from Epic Melon. Max 2.7 seconds, 2.9 seconds now just about from Baclout and Raspberry. Or Raspberry might get lapped this race. If he spins out a couple more times, he could definitely get lapped. I'm interested. What action have I missed? With this, as you claim, amateur commentary, Cicero. And in goes Raspberry for another pit. Is he getting a new wing? Yes, he is. And new tyres. He is dropping time. And he has got a 5-second penalty from speeding in the pit lane, so he is also serving that here too. And now he comes. That was a super long pit stop. He's now over 1 minute 12 seconds behind the leaders, as Cameron C is now coming down the back straight and could definitely lap Raspberry here if Raspberry keeps his pace up, or his pace down. Father. Raspberry racing like me. Okay. I don't have any comments for that. He's not racing like me. Raspberry racing like you. Thank you very much. Big snap of O's there from Epic Melon there, coming out of turn 2. Those tyres are definitely going to start going off in the next couple of laps, but they definitely will make it to the end, that is clear. And Cameron C pulling out now a 4.5 second gap to Melon, and Melon pulling out a 4 second gap to Baclout. Definitely nothing is going to be happening on the podiums unless there is a spinala and a crash into a wall, possibly in the castle section, possibly at turn 15. You never know where people are going to crash and back in, because every corner is a crashing opportunity here. Baclout pulling out a 4-second gap on Max, who is on those hard tyres, and he's settling nicely into 4th. And Raspberry now coming down to turn 15 in 5th place. 1 minute 23 seconds behind the light leader Cameron C, who is now himself coming through turn 15 as Baji is going off the track and is definitely just letting himself be lapped. Now, imagine being lapped in the GP in the Swift Premiership as his teammate now laps Raspberry. Raspberry has been lapped now by Cameron and Epic Melon. And we're going to see if Baclau has also lapped him, and Max is also lapping him. Oh, so definitely Raspberry is not going to be interacting with the leaders, as the Mercedes pit wall would say. Yes, lapped in the Mickey Mouse Championship, yeah. Very, very, very interesting, but you do have to cut Raspberry some slack. This is his first race on a wheel. It definitely is a very difficult endeavour to go from a controller to a wheel. You do definitely lose a lot of time and lose a lot of car control, as it's a very different experience from using an analog stick and a trigger than a wheel and a pedal. It's a completely different sort of muscle memory and like sort of, you know, different skill base. There's a yellow flag. Let me guess. It's Nikita Raspberry. He is spun around once again. Has he lost his wing? No, he hasn't, but he spun around again. Coming through turn 6. It looks like he spun on the exit of turn 3 there, or on the entrance to turn 4. But definitely not Raspberry's day to day. But definitely there's a pretty good excuse as of why. Going from wheel to controller is harder? Yes. That is also, I mean, I think they're both equally as hard because they're two different entities pretty much altogether. They're two different skill sets, but definitely, you know, require two different sort of driving styles and sort of players. There are some very, very fast controller players who are much faster than some of the best wheel drivers. I believe Louis Welch, who drives in competitive racing, does use controller. I'm not entirely sure though. That is just off the top of my head, but he's very fast. So if you are on controller, it is definitely possible to be very fast. Yes, I'm waffling because nothing is happening in this race. It is very, very boring, and this is like I don't know. This is like the Dutch Grand Prix that happened this Sunday. Very boring. Everyone's been gapped, and you know, isn't very interesting at all, as there's a 6-second gap, an 8-second gap, and a 3-second gap. But trying to act pro, I am pro. That's all we're gonna say. And I've been acting like this the entire race. It's very difficult to commentate, and you know, it's actually a lot harder than I anticipated to commentate over a race which doesn't have much action in at all. It's you know, you can talk about the track, but you can only say so much about the track. You can talk about the drivers, but only say so much about the drivers. And when we're coming into the closing stages of the race, and there is not a battle for any of the positions really, unless there is a mistake made, which the only person making mistakes at the moment is this man right here, Raspberry. But no matter how many mistakes he makes, unless he DNFs, you know, he's not overtaking anyone, and there's not going to be much happening with him anymore. I have talked about the championship. I've already gone into quite great detail about how Epic Melon is actually in a very good position in the championship. He's currently in 3rd place and is only, I think, 14 points behind Bashi. So the gap at the end of this race between the two drivers will be very, very close. But unfortunately, a lot of the people that were in this 3rd place battle, 2nd place battle for the in the championship currently aren't racing. Epic Melon is in 3rd place, 54 points. He is the only one currently on track who is in this pack of people. I'm not racing, Sorokin isn't racing, Greeny has crashed, Ulipak crashed into turn 1. So currently, at the end of this race, Epic Melon will have closed the gap quite heavily to God, to Bashi. And look who it is. Look who it is who was spun around. It is Raspberry Mazepin, who was spun around on his way down to turn 4, maybe? I don't even know. He has spun at almost every single car in this race. Definitely not the race for him today. Coming down into the last lap though, coming into turn 1, it is Cameron C. He has had an amazing race today. He has called the strategy perfectly, stopping over. He has stopped now 3 times, going from mediums to the softs, to the softs, to the softs. Oh, sorry, from the mediums to the mediums to the softs to the softs. And has had a great race, and definitely thoroughly deserves this win. Epic Melon also making only 2 stops. He's made the 2-stop work quite beautifully, and definitely deserves his 2nd place. McLeod has managed to hang on just towards the end and has claimed 3rd place by just surviving the carnage. That is definitely the strat in SRL, is as long as you survive the carnage and the spinning raspberries, you will definitely get a good result. Here, Cameron C. coming through the castle section for the final time. He does clip his rear end there, so definitely pushing his car to the limits on the very last lap when he has 8.7. He has an 8.7 gap from the nearest contender of Epic Melon. Here we have Raspberry, who is coming across the line now to start his lap 25, I believe. He's not on lap 26, he's on lap 25. Just starting his last lap. He's lap 25 now, so yeah, he's definitely going to be a lap down and definitely staying lap for this race. Coming now down through turn 19 and 20, using all of his ERS to pull that gap and to show his dominance as much as possible. Cameron C has dominated this race from start to end. Starting from 3rd place, Cameron C crosses the line and wins the Swift Premiership Azerbaijan Grand Prix. 9.5 seconds behind him is Epic Melon, who come from a very good place down in the back of the field, down in 7th and 8th place, around there, has come into 2nd place and claim a podium, and a very, very good race for him. His second place, for the Swift Premiership. McLeod coming home in 3rd, only 1.3 seconds ahead of Max. Max is gained obviously a lot of time in those last couple of laps, but just wasn't enough to overtake McLeod. And maybe if there was 2 or 3 more laps, maybe Max might have caught McLeod, as those tyres at 10 laps would have definitely been going off very, very badly and quite drastically. And now the last person here we are waiting for to come down to the finish line is Raspberry, who through all the carnage, all the spins, all the ups and downs for his race, and I'm not ignoring you, I'm reading the chat, but I'm doing my outro stuff. He has managed to go from last in 11th place, and even though spinning several times and pitting 6 times, he's managed to come home in 5th place and claim 10 points. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the real winner here is actually Raspberry, claiming 10 points as he slows down on the line to try and prove his dominance. And he's pulling over, and he's managed to spin. He's spinning the car around. He's trying to reverse over the line, but he can't do it. He's turning around on the line. And here he comes to cross the line. 5th place is Raspberry. A great race from all these people, really. Definitely something. Definitely driver of the day worthy here. Beautiful. League racing at its finest here. We're coming down onto the podium procession. We have Cameron C taking his win for Daddy's Cash, standing in for me. Very good race for him. Second place, Epic Melon. Beautiful run of form from him. Definitely a beautiful result for him. And in 3rd place, the Frenchman of McLeod, or Crash Pack. And definitely well deserved for these 3 people. congratulations to Cameron, and definitely to Epic Melon and Baclau here today. Believe Cameron got the fastest lap. He did. So we'll be getting that extra point, as you see here. Epic Melon coming from 7th place into 1st. So very, very good there. But that's all, folks. That is the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for Swift. Make sure to click the link in the description to join our wonderful league and sign up if you wish. I will leave you with the outro screen. And thank you for watching. And until next week, I'll see you all very soon.